All right, thanks, Jim. Lawmakers, filmmakers, and advocates are raising awareness about survivors of domestic violence that are serving time behind bars.
After being terrorized in their own homes by their abusers, these women are now being re-victimized by the criminal justice system that was, for all intent and purposes, blind to most important facts about their cases.
These women acted out of distress, out of self-defense, and imminent danger.
All right, now a new bill is working through the state legislature to help these stories be told. Joining us live now, Marissa Gonzalez is staff attorney at Legal Services for Prisoners with Children. She's also the coordinator of the Habeas Project. Marissa, thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you.
So tell us, this is kind of a two-parter because you guys have already passed one bill and now you're seeking to amend it. Tell us about these bills.
Well, you know, women, once somebody is charged with and convicted of a crime, our criminal justice system really looks at them as a number. But these are our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, and too often our grandmothers, and they were experiencing severe abuse at the time that they were being convicted and being charged with these crimes. They didn't have a chance to have that story told. And what the Habeas Project and the legislature intended with these bills is for women to have a chance to tell their stories so that we can understand how the severe abuse they were experiencing at the time connected to the crime that they were convicted of.
All right, so we're talking about women who are convicted of murdering their abusers.
Often, or of participating in a crime that they were coerced into by their abusive partner.
And so the original law that you passed, or that you helped pass about 10 years ago, what did that do?
That allowed for some survivors who hadn't had expert testimony about domestic violence during their crimes to now be able to bring that to a judge and say, had I had that expert testimony, it could have made a difference.
I think it surprises a lot of people to think that that testimony wasn't available to everybody. When you think about the fact that a lot of people use in their defense self-defense.
And that's all that this expert testimony is there to do, is to bolster that self-defense and help the jury and the judge to understand the abuse and how it was connected to the crime. But what this new bill will do is expand relief to more survivors who may have had limited expert testimony. A judge may have admitted some of the testimony, but often judges, when this bill was first passed, didn't really understand the extent to which that testimony was supposed to come in or what it was relevant to. So women didn't get a full chance to tell their stories, and that's what this bill will do. Will allow them to tell their full stories.
Now, why now? I mean, we only started this push 10 years ago. What kind of sparked this?
I think as we have been working to help women, we've started to see where the flaws in the bill are, who's still falling through the cracks. And it's taken us some time to figure out there are still people who we're not able to help with the law that's on the books currently because they did have some kind of expert testimony, but it wasn't up to the standards that it would be today. And that's what we want to do with this bill, is to bring that law up to the standards, make sure that women have the chance to tell their full stories and not have it limited in some way.
Now, tell me about the help that expert testimony of domestic violence would give in somebody's case.
Expert testimony can come in really to try to dispel the myths and misconceptions that juries and judges often have about abuse. Why didn't she leave? If it was that bad, I would have left. Well, maybe she tried to leave several times. Maybe she understood that by leaving, she was putting herself in more danger. Maybe, you know, there were barriers to her safety and to the safety of her children that prevented her from leaving. And so the expert can help the jury and the jury understand those barriers, the attempts that the woman made to achieve safety, and how she ended up in this criminal situation.
All right, yeah, a lot of psychological factors at play there when it comes to domestic violence.
Definitely.
Now, the new part of the bill has already passed a committee. You've been up there in Sacramento talking to some of the lawmakers. What's the reception you've gotten?
It's mostly very favorable. I think that California is really on the cutting edge when it comes to understanding the connection of domestic violence to particularly women in the criminal justice system. And so for the most part, we get really positive feedback. We're really happy that Fiona Ma has taken on this bill and feel really lucky to be working with such a strong champion for survivors.
We are going to post more information on our website, cbssf.com, later on today about the project. Marissa Gonzalez with the Habeas Project. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Well, next, a San Francisco food